This is a 2026 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD AEV Bison with the Duramax. And we probably have about 1 or 2 more years of this design and it's gone, guys. I think this is the best of the best right here. AEV Bison package, killer on the Silverado HDs. Now this truck is available at Ken Garff Chevrolet in American Fork. If you would like to buy it, be sure to text the number down below because when it's gone, it's gone. Now, how much is this beast going to cost you? Well, here's the window sticker. Up top is the description with the colors. And then this is a short listing of the standard features. Be sure to pause to see more. Now, base price is $73,200 and this only has a few options. So you have the diesel. Also, the ZR2 Bison edition is $8,875. Sunroof, and then fifth wheel prep package. Destination is $27.95 for a total price of $96,400. What do you guys think? This front bumper makes the truck. And I would say this is the forever truck for someone looking to buy the last one, because you don't really see a lot of AEV edition trucks roaming around because this is a expensive pickup. I mean, $96,000. Now, the reason why I would always get the AEV edition is simply because of this front bumper. Now, you can buy it after the fact. So if you already bought a truck and now you're thinking, man, I really want the AEV edition, you can now buy this bumper, and it's a little bit cheaper on the Chevy trucks. And I don't know if you know, they also added the brush guard. And what's so nice about this bumper is you can add the winch. So at some point, I do have an AEV bumper on my truck. I am going to add the winch. So I like all the features that you get. So all in all, this is probably the best looking truck on the market. I do like the front end of this better than the GMCs too. So bold, very aggressive styling. You guys see the sequential turn signals. Has a dual beam LED headlights and fog lights. AEV decal right there. Front parking sensors. You have these cast recovery hooks. This bumper is boron steel. It is powder coated, and what else? I think it's powder coated and e-coated. I think the back of it's e-coated internally, and then you have this powder coat on the external part of it too. Here's your block heater plug. Great design for that grill. Functional hood scoop, the only HD truck in the segment that has that too. And you guys see on the front end, you got to check out these huge skid plates. Great protection. What I like about this truck is this is all splash protection, so if you do go off-road in mud, it does keep the mud from getting inside this bumper. I like that. This is why people buy this truck too, because it does have an 1.5 inch lift from the factory, and these trucks look really good rolling down the highway. Now, it does have also the Multimatic suspension. So you guys see right there, this is the DSSV, which is dynamic suspension spool valve. So it doesn't use deflective disc, it uses spool valves, and it does have a reservoir inside internally. You also can tell probably that they did restyle that upper and lower control arm, and that's pretty much how they're getting the lift on this truck. The steer knuckle has been redesigned too. They did drop down the diff too. I'll show you the mount better on the other side, but you guys see here, fabric liner, and then here are the tires, which are the Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs. These are probably the most aggressive tires in the segment today. Hopefully you guys can see how wide that is too. And if you don't know, this is a LT 305/70/18, which is basically 34.8 inches tall, 12 inches wide. And that's why these tires look so aggressive, because they're so meaty on this truck. Now, also AEV wheels. So you guys can see right here, they do protect the valve stem. So if you are planning to go off-road and you get close to some rocks, it doesn't shear this off and obviously make the tire flat. I think these are my favorite design wheels too. Now on this side, you can see that diff mount right there. That's how they're able to get that diff a little bit lower. The only thing this truck is missing is the McGaughy's lift kit. Maybe if I have a chance, I'll have to talk to the dealership to see if maybe they'll do a lift on this truck, because this one looks so good on some 37 by 13.5 or 38s. I mean, I would probably go 38s, and you guys know Chevy has the better wheel wells too. Now, what's nice about the ZR2 trucks is they do widen this a little bit, so you have wider fender flares. Also, comes standard with the clearance lights. You can get a blackout for the badges if you like. Here's some of your lighting on the mirrors. Actually, this one does have the blackout here, and on the door handles, smart key system. This light here is for backing up at night, and you have blind spot alert too. There's really no chrome on this truck, and that's still the style today. Everybody likes that monochromatic look, although you have the black bumpers on this one. And even if you don't get ZR2, you still get the gloss black bumpers. 36-gallon fuel tank and 7-gallon DEF. Now you guys will see, this is the other reason why you buy this truck right here. Check out those skid plates. So you saw the front. You also have a skid plate for the transfer case, and it is stamped, so if you do go off-road with mud, you can actually, you know, wash it out pretty easily. And then you have one further back, and that's going to be for, actually that's the transfer case right there. This one's going to be more for the transmission. Okay, big skid plates. And then you have more Multimatic out back right there, 5 release, so you can still tow heavy with this truck. They do provide a liner. Ford trucks don't always give you a liner, by the way. And then there is a block right there. Hopefully you guys can see right there. There's a block. That's how they're able to get that extra lift. And you guys, since you can see while we're down below here, they do provide a matching wheel and tire, AEV wheel too. 342 with electronic locker. Up front it does have an open diff. But yeah, it looks so good. Full LED tail lights. When you get the Bison package, it does give you this blackout right there. You can add lights in this rear bumper from AEV, Class 5 hitch. And stepping in, you have a 4 and 7 pin bed lights, 400 watts of power. This fifth wheel prep package is slightly behind the axle, so it does give you better clearance with the gooseneck and fifth wheel trailer too. 2 cameras up here, defrost, power sliding glass. Be sure to check out my Juggernaut promo if you want to get a better tie down solution in the bed. What do you guys think? Is this the forever truck? I think it is. With all the off-road prowess, and it can still tow a decent sized trailer, absolute killer. Let's go ahead and talk about the Duramax. Now here's a quick history lesson. As I said earlier, this does have a functional hood scoop, right? You can see right here, that air drops into the intake system right here. GM claims that functional hood scoop is responsible for 60% of the air for this intake system. The other 40% comes through here. That is absolutely insane. Now this 6.6 liter Duramax, they've had that displacement for a long time. One thing I like about GM is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So the Duramax doesn't get a lot of updates, but it did get one back in 2024. So they did update the combustion and turbocharger, so it has a 10 blade. And if you decide to do some exhaust upgrades, sounds pretty amazing. Now 470 horsepower is really good coming out of a diesel engine, and 975 pound-feet of torque. All that power does go through a 10-speed transmission. And my favorite thing about this diesel is that it does use the Denso fuel pump and injectors, which is pretty reliable. I haven't heard of any issues with that. Now 15W40, this is the only diesel in the HC segment that uses a 15W40. The other two uses a 10W30. Now if you want, you can use a 5W40 for the colder climate. And I always have to put my plug in here. You guys know that the Ram air intake from Banks is available. Also, these sensors, you have one here, manifold with absolute pressure, and then the second one's right there. I recommend to relocate those and get their Ram air intake for sure. huge gains in fuel economy for the ram air, and those sensors get really dirty because of the EGR system. Now on this side, real quickly, you guys see this truck does have a sensor now for the CCV. So like I told you guys, in the future these trucks are going to get a lot more stringent with the emissions. So this is the best time, I think, personally, to buy, because these trucks, I'm telling you, they just look the part today. And like I said, there's so much aftermarket potential with them too. Let's check out the interior. I'm not going to take too much time, simply because I've done a few videos already with the ZR2. So be sure to go back and check out my other videos. But yes, you do have the greenstone interior, and with the AV edition, they do give you these floor mats and this stitching. That's the only difference for the interior. Everything else, you guys saw the skid plates, the front and rear bumpers, the wheels, all that stuff basically comes with this AV edition. Now I didn't mention, but you do have shortened mud flaps, front and rear. And I think that's why the truck looks so like good going down the road too, because you have those shorter mud flaps and that wider stance with the fender flares. Outboard heated seats, air vents, USBs, cup holders, 10-way seat. And you guys probably can tell this does have better bolstering too. So if you do plan on going off-road, it does hug you a little bit better. I like the lime green stitching that they have pretty much all throughout the interior. And even though this doesn't have any running boards, it's not too bad jumping inside this truck. Right here, you guys see, you can still use this for a bed camper. So 2,012 pounds of capacity and 13.4 inch display, 12 inch display, wireless charger right there, USBs, a little bit of storage right there. You have the camera for the rearview mirror, electronic locker, downhill assist. You can set cruise control when you're going down. I like that. Heated and ventilated seats, heads up display, and vanities. Home link is up here. You guys ready to drive this really quickly? I feel like I have to drive it real quick. Let's see how it does. One thing I like about this AEV edition is you can tell it's a little bit heavier compared to the regular ZR2, and that's a good thing because the extra weight does help this truck ride a little bit better. Especially like when I'm in the city, I can tell a difference because I just drove a ZR2 probably about a week ago now, but you probably would think you would notice that weight with the diesel, but you won't. That 470 horsepower does make up for it for sure. Now, if you have the gas engine, that might feel a little bit more sluggish, but I would not be afraid to get this truck with the gas engine, simply because you can save the $10,000. And you know, 401 horsepower is not bad. You know, I would like to see more out of it, but the 464 pound-feet of torque is where it's at. And now you have a 10-speed transmission behind it, so that should help if you do plan on towing a trailer. And you will have a little bit more payload capacity with that truck. I also recommend getting the camper package or the snow plow package. That way you get more capacity on the front axle. And of course, upfitter switches. If you're gonna add lights and stuff, wouldn't be a bad idea. But yeah, if you need to pass someone like I do right now, oh yeah, she moves. She likes to move it, move it. The tires don't have a lot of noise, but I will admit, at about 3,000 miles, they do get a little bit louder than where they are now. So you can hear them right now. They'll just be a little bit more louder, you know, once you start getting miles on them. But yeah, overall, this is a really nice truck. Like I said, the presence this truck has on the road is absolutely phenomenal. Let's go ahead and check out the numbers on the door. So the gross axle weight rating out front is going to be 5,600 pounds. The rear is 6,600 pounds. Gross fuel rating is 11,350. You guys see 18x9 wide wheels. Now someone tore off the trailering sticker, and like I've seen this before. I can always have the dealership get another one for this truck if you would like to purchase it, however. But this figure, your gooseneck and fifth wheel capacity is like 15,000 pounds. And I believe the conventional towing still might be 18,000 in that ballpark. All-in payload capacity is going to be 2,762 pounds, 55 psi for the tire pressure. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a really nice truck, as I said, for the money. If you're looking for a forever truck, you can build on this platform so nicely. And of course, there's so much tuning and exhaust options, if you know what I mean. I would 100% jump on this truck if I were in the market right now. It's such a beautiful build. I actually like it in the white too. I'm glad I saw this one with the bumpers and of course that decal on that tailgate. But yeah, be sure to text the number at the beginning of the video if you'd like to inquire on it. See you guys soon.